Hey family, how you loving? How you loving? How you loving? How you loving, boo? How you loving? Do I sound like Wendy Williams? Except Wendy's be like, how you doing? How you doing? Is that her thing? How you doing? You know we got how you loving. How you loving? How you loving? If you're new here on the channel, I'm Reverend Valerie Love, Divine Midwife of Soul Destiny, XJW. Whoo, child, and do I have a story for you today? XJW. That's what they call us. They call us XJWs. I say a former Jehovah's Witness. That was part of my unfoldment, my soul unfoldment, right? Everybody has a soul to unfold on planet Earth. How you loving, Teresa? How you loving? How you loving? How you loving? So, yesterday, can't wait for this one, Marlo. Y'all know how crazy Reverend Val is. Also known as Kaisi, by the way. Oh, looking vibrant. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just making sure my hair is not looking, it's curly, and I'm just making sure it's not looking so crazy. But anyway, anywho. OMG, yesterday, me and my daughter were speaking. Cecilia, how you loving? Hey, Jared, hey, how you loving? Yesterday, me and my daughter were speaking. Hey, Derry. And we were talking about our experience with the JWs because, you know, if you don't know, I'm an XJW. They call it Happy Friday. Looking stunning. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Intuitive Gems. Thank you so much. So they call it XJW, right? So we were talking about our XJW experiences. Now, my daughter, I have 3 kids. My very first son, just to give you some background, my mother met the Jehovah's Witnesses when I was 3. And I grew up in Harlem. I was born in Harlem to a single mom. She was 19. She was out of control. She was having kids out of wedlock, so that made her kids bastards. She had me, then 2 years later, she had my brother and 2 different fathers. So, you know, she was like hell on wheels, and that was in the 60s, right after June Cleaver, Leave It to Beaver. And the family, the neighborhood was like, you know, back in the day. And they used to send girls like that down south. You didn't know what happened. So-and-so went down south. And when she came back, nothing happened. And then the baby was down there. So that's what they used to do. My mother wasn't going for none of that. So my mother had me. And my mom was kind of all over the place. So at 3 years old, oh, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. So at 3 years old, my mother had me going to the supermarket in Harlem, sunny summer day. And she's walking in the street. And she meets up this Jehovah's Witness, meets up with this gentleman who's a Jehovah's Witness. And he is standing on the street corner with the Watchtower Awake magazine. And he asks her a question like, would you like to live in a paradise earth? Now, the witnesses love to start with questions like that. And the reason they do is because you live in the middle of Harlem. All the witnesses thrive in the barrios, the slums, and the hoods of the whole world. That's where they thrive. Because if you go to a rich neighborhood and you ask somebody with their Benz and their Lambo in the driveway, do you want to live in a paradise? They like, fucking look around, I'm living in a paradise. if you were doing your manifestation work, you would have probably already made yourself a paradise. But they go to places where people's consciousness has not yet ascended to the place where you just make your own paradise, right? Heaven on earth, that's what you're here to do. You're here to unfold your soul, and you're here to have consciousness that anchors heaven on earth. But that's another story. So anyway, here they were in the hood recruiting. Same thing that the military does. They go in the hood and they recruit people, right? So anyway, you want a way out? If you live in like in the middle of the best neighborhood ever, you don't want a way out. If you're in the hood, you want a way out. So anyway, and they take that as the answer. So my mother saw this gentleman and he asked her this question, this opening door questions that they always ask, that they teach you when you go on field service. They take you to the service meeting. I don't know if they still have a service meeting. I don't know if they still do all these things that they did when I was there in the 60s, 70s, 80s. And when I left, I don't know if they still do these things. A lot of people that I hear from, they say that they don't always do all of these things. I'm sharing with you what happened when I was there, okay? When I was there, 5 meetings a week. That was my life for 26 years. From the age of 3, when my mother met the Jehovah's Witness on the street corner, to the age of 30, when I had a soul awakening and it was in a deep depression and dark night of the soul, and came out of the witnesses for 26 odd years. Around 3, 4 was when she actually got baptized. 3 was when we were introduced to it. So for 26 years, I was in the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. So I'm telling you my experience from those 26 years. So anyway, He's talking to her about Jehovah's Witnesses. He's talking to her about the paradise earth. He's talking to her about, the Bible. He has the Bible, and I'm standing there like, what the? It's hot. I want to go home. It's a kid. Well, she stood on the street corner with him. She told us later that all her cold stuff melted, like all the ice cream melted, and she didn't care because it was a hot sunny day. He had the answers that she had been looking for. That's the beauty of the spiritual path. We can never, I never fault my mother for being a witness for 50 some odd years. When you read in my books, read Confessions, and now the newest one, Confessions of a Christian Witch, and now the newest one that's out right now for pre-order, which you all have made a #1 bestseller already, is How to Be a Christian Witch. When you read my books and you read the story of this in my book, Confessions of a Christian Witch, where I just pour out my heart and soul, and she's selling like hotcakes now too. When you read the story in Confessions, I tell the whole story. I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version now because it's a video. In a book, you can just read and read and read. Right here, there's a video. We're not going to be in here for 5 hours, right? So what I say in the book is that the witnesses saved my mother's life. Now, I'm very clear on that. And she was very clear on that too. It wasn't from me. So you have to make your choice, boo. You've got to stand up and start out, Mr. Frodo, and leave the Shire and initiate with your self-agency and your whole consciousness, your mind, and go out on the hero's quest. So everybody's got to do that. My mother went on her hero's quest and she landed with the witnesses. Best thing ever for her. I mean, she was there. She had all her girlfriends. She got a husband. She had a house. Everything came together for her. And that was her path. That was for her. Wasn't for me, because look at my wild ass out here. So anyway, out here in these streets, you try to put me in a cult. Man, that's why they put me out. That's why they put me out. So that was my induction. And then when I was 3, they gave me a Bible, said, this is your Bible. Don't put it on the floor. Don't write in it. Don't bend the pages. Da-da-da, da-da-da. They have all these very strict rules that went with the Bible. You could not do anything with the Bible. You couldn't write in the Bible. You could not make marks in the Bible. You could not put the Bible on the floor. If somebody saw the Bible on the floor, oh, it's going to be a big problem. You could not do anything with your Bible other than read it, and you better wear that Bible out. Every year you need to get a new one, not because it's messed up and ratty and messed up because you messed it up. It's worn out because you read so many pages that your Bible is so worn that you need to buy a brand new Bible, okay? And after all, Jehovah's Witnesses is a publishing company, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. They are a publishing company, so they can just make you more and you just buy more. Well, me and my daughter were talking yesterday about how the witnesses don't have Bethel anymore. Now, when I was growing up, do y'all remember Bethel? Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. Do y'all remember you go over the Brooklyn Bridge and you saw read God's word, the Bible daily. Does anybody remember that? That was a mainstay in Brooklyn, New York, honey. You could not walk through Brooklyn, New York without seeing 50 million Bethelites. They look like the little Mormon boys. When them little Mormon boys be coming around, they look so cute. I think that's so wonderful that they make you go and do your missionary work before you come. You got to go out and see the world. That's a beautiful thing, Some of these practices we could really adopt. We just leave the cult part of it out. Some of these cults have some good ideas. So anyway, nothing's all bad and nothing's all good, right? So anyway, me and my daughter were talking yesterday about there's no more witnesses. They sold all that property in Brooklyn, which I had heard back because it was getting hot. It was getting hot because, the lawsuits and all that kind of stuff. And all the YouTube channels, and you got XJW Fifth. You got all these circuit overseers. You got, I think one of the channels here on YouTube, I believe he was a circuit overseer or either a district overseer. Like I was a regular pioneer. You got regular pioneers, you got Bethelites, you got circuit overseers, district overseers. Queen V knows what I'm talking about. All the XJWs know what I'm talking about. All these people that used to be in the hierarchy of witnesses are coming out and telling you, boo. Now you can understand if it was this, the wishy-washy, they weak in the faith. That's what they used to say about the ones who were weak in the faith, kind of wobbly, the publisher, oh, they're weak in the faith. My mother was a zealot. My mother was a zealot. She's like me. Well, I'm like her. Thank you, Mom. God bless her soul. She's on the other side. Thank you, Mom. I'm like her. And we're all in kind of gals. We don't do nothing like, oh, I'll try it out. I don't try shit out. I'm just, that's just not how I flow. If I do it, I jump all the way in. I do a cannonball into the pool and I say, oh, this is acid. Get out. And then I get out, I heal, and I'm on to the next. That's me. I do a cannonball into the pool because that's really the only way you know what something is. You don't know what something is when you put your toe in the water and you swirl it around, swirl around. You'll be there swirling your foot or toe in the water, trying to figure out, is this acid? Is this Kool-Aid? You won't know what it is because you didn't total immersion. That's me. I just go total immersion. So my mom, zealot. I, zealot. I was, regular pioneer. I'm on the program at the circuit assembly. I'm on the program at the district convention. Oh, what? Super faithful, super in field service all the time. Walking through the streets of New York City in winter, rain, sleet, hail. Okay? Well, my daughter tells me yesterday, everything was moved from Brooklyn. So I remembered vaguely that they had sold everything, all the witnesses had sold everything up in New York City, and they had moved all the way up to, do you remember? Do you remember they moved up to, I think it was Poughkeepsie, New York, or someplace up there, Newburgh, or not Newburgh. They moved somewhere upstate. And if you watch John Cedars has this whole thing down pat. He will tell you everything the witnesses do. He has documentation. He went up there. Okay. Me, I was not for going back once I got out. So this is all very well documented, is what I'm meaning to share with you. So anyway, my daughter and I were laughing about how the witnesses first, they sold everything. We're just observing, right? We're just observing. It wasn't really funny. That part wasn't really funny. We're just observing that the witnesses, they sold everything and then they went upstate. And then my daughter told me yesterday, she said, oh, Ma, they sold all that stuff that they had upstate too and left the country. I said, what? Where are they? Because my family member, it's actually my nephew. They don't talk to me because, I'm crazy. I'm a witch. I'm disfellowship. Why would they talk to me? So, and I can't say that I don't enjoy it. So anyway, because a lot of times when witnesses want to talk to you, you'd be like, oh Lord, they're trying to get you to come back in the kingdom hall. So I'm kind of happy that people can't talk to me because, it just relieves me of all those conversations. But anyhow, and I just hear about the family through my daughters and my son anyway, because my son, who's the oldest one, I had him when I got married as a Jehovah's Witness to my high school sweetheart. We were 20, 22, and 23. I did not have sex until I got married. I did exactly what they told me. Well, okay, let me tell the truth. I didn't do exactly what they told me. I was like on the gray. I was kind of like this. I'm with you, but I'm kind of doing this too. I'm with you. So we was trying to do everything we could do without a penis going into a vagina, okay? Y'all know how crazy Kaisi is. Please share this with all the witnesses that you know, because the witnesses need to hear this. People that are still in there, share all my stories with them, please, okay? So here I was. Get married, had the baby. 3 years later, I was around 26. Yeah, 26 I had Corey, 29 I had my second baby, right? And Austin, you know how crazy I am. I had the second baby at 29. That's when I went into just a deep depression because I was doing everything that I was told and my life was getting worse. They told me study the Bible, study the Bible, study the Bible. Okay, because I want answers for my soul and for my life. I did everything I was told. Go and field service. Okay. That's supposed to bring you some kind of fulfillment or some joy, but you'll be in a new system. Even if you're suffering now, you'll be happy later. All this, you're suffering now, but you'll be happy later in the by and by that religions try to push on people. I'm not with it. I'm just not with it. I understand delayed gratification. I understand that there are some things that we must do that sometimes are not always the most enjoyable. I do not agree with your joy must be postponed and your bliss must be put on hold till you get to heaven. Make this heaven. Choose bliss now. Heaven is the present moment. Heaven is now. You know, all this futurizing, yeah, when you get in the by and by, when you get to heaven, and when you get, witnesses didn't believe in heaven. That was only for 144,000. We regular minions, we weren't going to go to heaven. Okay, so the whole idea of this futurizing that later you're going to, we were suffering and I was doing everything that they told me and my life was getting worse and worse. So this was, I think I'm gonna write another book about this. Another book is coming to me as I'm speaking to y'all, right? So anyway, so I'm just my XJW story. A lot of it is in Confessions of a Christian Witch, and I also have more rich detail to add to it. Oh my God. So by the time I was in my 20s, it was really, well, no, it started in high school, and high school was just a game changer for me. Like, they had me 100%. Well, no. They never had me 100%, even from when I was 3, because I was like, you know how in the back of yourself, your soul is like, right? That's what it was. They had about 90% of my head, my consciousness. They could never have 100%. Okay, fast forward to high school. High school, I'm loving my life. I'm writing for everything in high school. I'm writing for the school newspaper. I'm writing for the school sketchbook, school yearbook. I'm writing for this other, it was called the Sketchbook, this other publication that our school used to put out. I was in Washington Irving High School. And to this day, you can go back to the newspaper. The New York Times published my work when I was 16 years old in a big spread called Great Writing by Young People. You know, like that was like mind blowing, right? Mind blowing. Hey, love, how you loving? Smash that like button, baby. Come on, let's get a smash-a-thon. Smash that share button, baby, and remember to subscribe and ring the bell. Okay, so anyway, let's fast forward. I was beginning to feel real dissonance in high school. Real dissonance, like this is not my path, like 18, 19. No, 15, 16. I was writing and I was in my bliss. And the more you get into your bliss, yay. The more you get into your bliss, the more you get into your resonance, the more dissonance is noticed. Like, oh, that doesn't fit this. Then they would tell me, oh, no, here's all the books from the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. You're not going to be, nobody ever told me I was going to write books. Here I am, the author of 18 books, best-selling author. No one ever told me I was going to be writing books. That wasn't in the, I had to figure that out on my own. And I got a beautiful mentor along the way, Mrs. Freeman, whom you heard me speak of the other day. Anyway, it's getting worse. I'm doing everything that they tell me. Okay, I'm going in field service. Okay, I start pioneering with the baby. I'm even pioneering pregnant. Pioneering means 3 hours a day of proselytizing. 3 hours a day you have to spend knocking on doors or talking to people about becoming a Jehovah's Witness. 90 hours a month. That was my experience when I was in it. It was 90 hours a month. 144,000. Yeah, they say only 144,000 people are going to go to heaven. Everybody else is going to stay on the earth. That's what they say. I'm just telling you what they made up in their little corner of the world. I'm just telling you about my cult experience. So anyway, I was beginning to just get worse and worse and worse. Doing everything they said, doing as much as I could. I was like, you know something? Something's got to give. So, dark night of the soul, and I'm just having this awakening, right? Just, it's just getting harder and harder. And I'm starting to go down now. I'm starting to go down into a deep depression. This was after the second baby. I couldn't take it. It wasn't my life. It wasn't the life I wanted. I did everything they say. I got married. I studied the Bible. I went in field service. I stayed with the brothers and sisters. I just did everything that the cult told me to do, and my life was getting worse and worse and worse by the minute. Didn't know what to do. Where are you going to go? They cut out everybody outside of your life. The only people you're going to talk to are people that are in the cult. You're not going to talk to anybody else. So anyway, continued and fast forward to the point where I almost took myself out. I had to say, I'm out of here. I didn't know where I was going. I just had to get out of there. Now, a lot of times you may not know yet what you're going to do. You know what you're no longer going to do. That's where I was with it. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I didn't know where I was going. I knew what I wasn't going to do no more. So I'm open. I'm out of options, sitting here like, right? So my daughter, let's now go over to the part where my daughter and I were speaking yesterday. So my daughter and I were talking yesterday. And she says, yeah, they moved. Oh, where'd they go? And we talking about the family members, my nephew. Oh, I promise you I'm going to bring this whole thing together and put a pretty bow on it. I promise you. So my daughter says, they moved to Australia because they moved from Brooklyn to the upstate. Now they're over in Australia. I said, Australia? Because she said, yeah, because so-and-so is in Australia, our family member. He's in Australia. What's he doing in Australia? Serving where the need is great? That was, I thought, be like missionary. She said, no, he's in Bethel over there. I said, Bethel is in Australia? She said, yeah, Bethel is in Australia, and he's at Bethel because they don't have Bethel in Brooklyn or upstate anymore. So completely left the country. I said, that's because they was getting so many damn lawsuits and because all these YouTube channels been blowing them up. So it ain't like they can keep conducting business as usual. And you go to jw.com, but you go to XJW or you go to JW Truth or something like that. And you got all the websites out there. Like the gig is up, people. They don't already, the gig is up. So anyway, but some people still want to hold on to it. They still trying to hold on to it, right? Trying to hold on to it. But anyway, they're in Australia now. I said, you know something? That makes sense. Because I think Australia must be a good country to go to if you're in a cult. She said, why you say that? Because I said, did you see that show on TV with those people that wear the blue? So family. Have y'all seen this crazy cult on TV? Let me not say crazy. Crazy is a judgment. I'm about love. Have y'all seen that cult on TV that's over in Australia and they wear the little frocks with the not Amish, because Amish people, I understand Amish people. They just don't use electricity. I understand it, even though there's a lot of people that are breaking Amish too, right? I understand Mormon people. I grew up in New York City. It's melting pot. You be around all kinds of people. You be around Jewish people, Hasidic Jewish people. We ate all their food. All kinds of Greek people. You eat Slovakia. You eat all that. You eat it's a melting pot, right? So I've been exposed, and then all the countries that I travel to all over the world. So I'm always exposed to so many different religions and faith walks of people and things. So things are not strange to me. And growing up in New York City, things are just not strange to you. Oh my goodness, all them lawsuits on pedophilia, all them lawsuits are not reporting what goes on to the police and talking about they're going to handle it. The elders are going to handle it. Oh, that's just nasty stuff, right? So, and the Australian Commission, which I believe those videos are probably still available somewhere here on YouTube. The Australian Commission was like taking them to task. I mean, whipping their tail. It's pretty bloody. So I don't see how any witness could sit in there right now and still say, Jehovah is going to bring. You've been saying that since damn 1975. It's 2020. 1975 to 45 years later, we still haven't seen Armageddon and the Great War of Armageddon and the 1,000-year reign and none of that. But it's coming. Okay, you keep saying that. I'm going to live my life. If I had listened to them since 1975 to here, 45 years, most of my life, I wouldn't have been living my life. Do you realize that in the 1970s, they were telling people it's no need to go and get any kind of tooth repair or any kind of dental work done because Armageddon is coming in 1975. You're going to get a whole new everything. What the? Okay, people, this is a cult. This is cults. Okay. So have y'all seen this cult? Oh yeah, that's what they say. Christ came invisible in 1914. Have y'all seen this crazy cult in Australia? About centrally, we talking about this crazy cult in Australia that wears the blue frocks and the hat. Let me tell y'all, this show it's not on Netflix because I turned off Netflix for a while. I still have Netflix off. I think it's on Amazon Prime Video. Just look up Aurora Day, have you seen this cult show? Let me tell y'all about this cult. So this cult, oh my god, me and my daughter were laughing so hard yesterday because this cult, you saw it. It's a hot mess. Aurora Day. What's the name of that show again? So everybody would know the name. Somebody, please. It's a hot. Oh my God. Please put the name in the chat. Please put the name of this cult in the chat so we can all know what the name of this thing is, so you can warn your people. Warn your people, warn your children. You see, dissatisfied people get caught up in things like this, and the next thing you know, they can't get out. This cult is in Australia. They live in this very, very, very secluded, I wouldn't say secluded because there's a little town seemingly somewhere near them. They live on their own land, like they bought all this land, and they live on their own land. That's the first suspicion. What's the name of it? Oh, what is the name of it? Oh, what is Bethel? They call Bethel House of God. And they say that Bethel is that's the name of it. Bethel is the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses. They call it Bethel because they say Bethel means house of God. So that's what Bethel is to the Jehovah's Witnesses. So it's their world headquarters. That used to be in Brooklyn, and then it moved upstate, and now it's over in Australia. So anyway, and they call the people that work there Bethelites. Used to be all brothers, and then you would get a wife, and then you would move they give you a little apartment. It's the cult. So just think cult, and you'll understand what it is, right? The leader died last year. Yeah, he was almost 100. But guess what? The very first leader, he was in jail for what do these cults always get caught up in? Pedophiles. Come on, people. Come on, people. And this was just not a random accusation. This was the leader of the cult. This was the one who started the cult. You know what? Because who is the most susceptible? You ain't never seen it? What's the name of this show? Please, somebody look this show up for me. Please look up this show. They have on blue with the little blue frocks. It's on Amazon. It's like an Amazon documentary show, and it has several episodes. And when I watched it, first off, the first issue, people, is that you are secluded. They take you out of humanity. That's the first problem. Because let me ask you a question. Is that what Christ did? No. He walked among people. He lived among people. He was with people all day, every day. And he was fucking Jesus Christ. So he returns, and they're waiting for Jesus Christ's return. And Jesus sent his people out among people. You're supposed to live and move and breathe among people. But this is how what's the name of it? The name is The Family. Is that the name of it? Okay. Is that the name of it? The Family? Check and let me know for sure. Somebody look it up on Amazon Prime and let us know, because we got to know the name of this thing for sure. Thank you. Okay. You cannot separate. Separating yourself is never the answer, people. Why? All cults have this issue. Why do all cults have this issue? Here is the reasons why they have these issues. Because there are many causative factors. There are many causative factors. One causative factor is that they are going to self-rule. They're going to have their own rulership. Well, guess what? Oh, it is the family. Okay, that's the name of it. Oh my God. Please look it up. They're going to self-rule. Y'all getting me good. Y'all getting me going on this. The first problem is self-rule because everybody needs accountability. Why do you think people don't just walk the streets and do whatever the hell they feel like it? Because there's accountability. Why don't you drive on the right side of the street if it's and you're in the United States? We drive on the right and the opposing traffic is on the left. Why don't you just drive down the street on the left side? What kind of chaos would that cause? There's accountability. If you're driving drunk, there's accountability. Someone will pull you over. And we know the accountability doesn't always work perfectly because, of course, police are humans just like everyone else. There's accountability. But these cults, they set up a leader like Jim Jones, same thing. He's the leader. You mean to tell me a man or a woman, it don't even have to be a man, woman, person, whatever, gender neutral. I don't care who it is. No person is going to be the leader of me. Period. End of story. That's the first problem. See, there are many causative factors. There's some leader gets in their head. Do y'all watch what's that one that's in, oh man, my daughter knows it. There's this other black dude that went away to Honduras or someplace like that. And he had this whole cult community. He was going to grow this community. He had several wives, and there were some dudes there too. And he had each of the wives, and he had a wife by this one, and they go live on Instagram all the time. I forget the Carbon Nation. That's the name of it, Carbon Nation. Look them up. Why does this person think that they're going to be the boss of everybody there? That's the first problem. Everyone is equal. Everyone is God. Everyone is hearing from God. That is the first violation of divine universal law. Second is separation. What is separation about? The ego. So why do we have to be separate? Why do we have to leave humanity? Now, he called it carbonation. He called it leaving your Babylon name. He coming to Zion. Oh, India, welcome, India. Wow, love you, India, love you. So this whole idea of, okay, we're going to go somewhere and we're going to be away from society. Well, we don't know what the fuck you're doing over there. You can do anything. Now, once they get over there, nature boy, that's it. I wish some nature boy would have came to me and said, yeah, you're going to come live with me in Costa Rica, and you're going to be my lady, you're going to be my woman, and you're going to have my babies, and I'm in charge, and you're going to do what I say, and I'm going to have other women, and man, I would have shot that Negro. I'm sorry. I've heard enough. See, peace. Why don't people exhibit their own agency and divine? And yeah, they try to use the word to tell you what the deal is. They try to say, oh, God says that the man is the head of the woman. God didn't say that. Men said that to try to subjugate women. God didn't say that. God said that Adam was not complete. He was like, you're not complete. I will make a compliment for you. Compliment, Complement, not compliment, Compliment. It is a compliment, something that completes you. The man is not complete without the woman. It's not complete. That's why you will see no man rise to his true destiny without a powerful, strong woman behind him. Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, they're equals. Barack Obama is not better than Michelle Obama. Barack Obama is not going to tell Michelle Obama what to do. We are together because we choose to be together, because we are equals coming together. If you're not equals, it's going to be codependent. We are equals coming together, and we are choosing to be together because we have aligned destinies, and I'll support you and you support me, right? And we're going to travel this world. We're choosing to travel together. You ain't the boss of me, and I'm not the boss of you, and I'm not just on your thing without no regard to my thing, right? Michelle Obama she was mentoring Barack Obama before Barack Obama became Barack Obama. Read her book. I didn't read his book yet. I read her book. Read her book. He tells you he came to her because he was the new one on the block, and she was already established, and she was already the head attorney in charge, and she was a badass long before she was mentoring him. She was already a badass. And he wasn't trying to tell her what to do. She was like, oh, okay, I can get with you because we're going to the same place. Same thing if you read Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton's story. Same thing. And you want to know something very synchronistic? Remember I told you that I was in a newspaper when I was 15, 16 years old, about 16 years old. They wrote up if you pull that newspaper up, of me in the newspaper, my writing, it was under Valerie L. Taylor. That's who I was then, Valerie Lee Taylor. So it's Valerie L. Taylor. If you pull that up and you see the New York Times did a whole spread on great writing by young people, a page or two over from it, you will see a picture of Bill Clinton when he was like 20 something. It is so amazing. So I didn't notice that because when he was in the newspaper when I was 16, he was nobody. It had this little picture, Bill Clinton, so, blah, 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 and it said something about him. And that was it. Later on, I looked at that newspaper. I was like, I was in the newspaper where Bill Clinton, oh my, this destiny thing, it's beyond anything you can imagine. So anyway, The issue is they just do so many violations of divine law. So this cult, they go off and they're somewhere in Australia and you can't leave. Now that's the other problem. Well, that's freedom right there. I can't leave. No, you cannot leave. Next, now they tell you, oh, you can leave if you want to. That's what they say. This man made his way out of there, and he said that his wife and kids could not go. Now, at the cult, they make you have all these kids. Not make you have. They're just not with the birth control. So you will see women. This woman, my daughter was telling me, she watched the whole series. I could only watch like 2-3 episodes, and I was like, oh, I see what this is. Okay, I've had enough. About 2 or 3 episodes, there was a woman who was 62, I think, and she was having her 10th child or something like that, and she was having some complications, and my daughter was like, give it a rest. You are a grandma. You got like 29 grandkids, and you still having kids. Now, it's not to say that you couldn't have kids if you want to have kids. I'm not talking about any one particular issue being with any of this stuff. Have as many kids as you want to have as many, live wherever you want to live, have as many, whatever. It's all of these things taken together in a structure that makes it just, that makes it a high control, therefore psychologically abusive, emotionally restrictive, emotionally suppressing cult, where if what I was like, all these people in there, and they all make you get married, so you have to get married. I said, well, where are the gay people? Where are the transgender people? Where are the witches? Where are the pagans? You couldn't have it there because everyone has to do. I can't. Everyone has to do what you have to do. So me and my daughter were talking about this part. And this part was probably one of the creepiest parts to me. You have to get married, right? You have to get married. And when you get ready to get married, the man, of course, has to ask the woman to marry him. That's kind of traditional. A lot of places still do that. That's cute and all. The man has to ask, before he asks the girl who he's going to marry. Now, this dude looks like 16, 17, right? Because they are all for getting you married when you're 15, 16. This cult already had legal issues because they were marrying 13-year-olds. Same like the Mormons. The ones that are way out there in Utah. They all had legal issues because they were giving 13-year-old girls. And guess what? This is not unique to Mormons. This is not unique to white people. This is not unique. This happens in Africa, in the African villages. They would give a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old girl to a grown man as his wife. And that's why the girls were having these horrific birth experiences and these horrific experiences as they become older. Because guess what? Money in the vortex. Yes. Mwah. Billion-fold return to you. Love it. Thank you. Love it. And the reason that these girls were having such horrific feminine issues is because they were having babies at 13 and 14 before your body was even fully developed. They had not gone through puberty yet. That is a violation of divine law. Divine law says that there's a process by which a body of a woman is prepared to bear children. If you do not align with that divine process, this is all in nature. This is all encoded in nature. But people want to come along. When I say man, I don't mean men. What I mean is humanity wants to come along and tackle with the laws of nature that God has already set in place. And God already set these laws in place so that everyone stays healthy, happy, thriving. Nature has a purpose. So you're not going to speed up. You can't. I heard it put this way. You can't get 9 women pregnant and let each one be pregnant for a month and expect that you're going to have a full-grown baby. It takes one, it's 9 months. It's not even, you can't even distribute the 9 months. You can't tamper with this. It's a tamper-proof system. Because if you tamper with it, the system is going to shut off and become infertile. It's not going to continue to breed. So that's why they got pulled up a few times. Besides the pedophilia, which is, you can see that it would be easy for pedophilia to unfold like this because this is communities that are unchecked with no people, there's no accountability. can kind of do what you want, and you kind of get the idea that you can go do what you want. And who become the most vulnerable in society? The children and the youth. The youth, children, and elderly people and sick people. The most vulnerable ones will be the ones who will be at the expense of those quote unquote more stronger ones. The most, susceptible, the most vulnerable to these things are young people that have not fully developed and unfolded yet, and they're naive and they're innocent, and we are here as adults to protect the innocence of young people. And that's a big thing that happens in cults. It just gets, we no longer become their protectors, and there's supposed to be accountability, and there was accountability, when you were in a strong family structure. There was accountability. People knew how to act, and people knew what to do and what not to do, and there were consequences to pay. So you have to get married. You have to get married to a man and a woman. That's going to knock out 30-40% of the population. Actually, it's probably going to knock out 60 or 70% of the population, because first you have to get married. Then you have to get married, a man to a woman. That's going to knock out more than half the population, because part of the population don't want to get married. That's me. Part of the population is not going to marry a person of the opposite sex. So you probably got 30% that is not going to get married. Maybe another 30 or 40% that is not going to marry somebody of the opposite sex. So now you're talking about 40% of the population. If you look at the whole globe, right? All people everywhere. I'm not just talking about in this little tiny subsection of people. So next, this was creepy. This was the creepiest part. Y'all listen to me. This was the creepiest part. When you get married, they have a whole, like everything, there are protocols for it. I get that. When the couple gets married, these couples are like 17, 16, right? Because at 16 you can, and her parents had to give consent because she was under 18, and she said yes, and they went and they did their little papers at the little town not far from where they live. So they are, living according to the law, it looks like. This couple, when you tell them that you're going to get married on your wedding day, now first they make your clothes for you. You can't pick your wedding dress. They make your wedding dress for you. They make all your clothes for you. You can't pick your clothes. You can't pick anything. You can't pick what you're going to eat. Everything is for the group. You can't make money. You cannot express individuality. All the girls wear the same thing, all the same colors. All the dudes wear all the same thing. This is for the community. Everything you do is for the community. Everything you do is for the whole. I get that. I understand that. I wouldn't do it. I understand it. Now, next, when it's time to get married, the dude asked the elders. Only men in charge. No women can ever be in charge. That's the next problem. Because if you had me in there, I'm going to be like, well, I have a say. And they're going to be like, Sister Valerie? Yes. Only men are... Could you see Sister Valerie in there? Sister Valerie would be the problem. Every day, excuse me, I have a question. I would be knocking on the elders' door. Excuse me. I'd like to speak with the elders. No women are allowed to hear. I think that's what I wanted to talk to you about. I'd like to propose a vote that we have some new leadership around here. To put me out. Okay, so, and I would be very loving about it. It would just be like, well, the sisters have been speaking. We were in the kitchen. All the women are working in the kitchen. The women are sewing the clothes. The men are out doing all this work of chopping down trees and all that. I mean, I get that. I get that part too. I get it. It's not that I don't get why the cult is set up the way it is. I am questioning the whole cult concept. And I stand, at the end of the day, I stand for freedom, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. I stand for freedom. I stand for your freedom, my freedom. I stand for freedom of speech. I stand for freedom of worship, freedom of devotion. I stand for freedom of sexual orientation, freedom of gender, freedom to be free from all the constraints of what society wants to put on you, free to be your own exquisite, unique, divine being that you came here to be. Let's see what that would be if you did not have all the shackles on you from society. That's what I'm about. So how about we have community? We don't have to sequester ourselves somewhere in the woods. That tells you something is going to go strange or run afoul. We don't have to sequester ourselves. We can have beautiful, loving. I am a part of beautiful, loving spiritual communities. We come together. We have joy. We have laughter. We have frivolity. We have mirth. We have food. We have food. We have food. We have crying. We have laughter. We come together in spiritual community. Love spiritual community. And spiritual community celebrates the distinction. It doesn't celebrate. We celebrate the differences. Oh, here's a rose. Oh, here's a petunia. Oh, here's a lily. Oh, here's a hydrangea. You know, I love my flowers. Let me bring my baby over. This is one of my babies that I have with me. I love my flowers. I always have flowers around me. Always, always, always. This is a little hydrangea that I have with me. And look how beautiful she is. Say hi. And you know what? I picked some really good ones this time because they lasted like over a week. And these hydrangeas, these flowers are the drama queens of the flowery kingdom. Like they get a little too hot. They're like, oh, I can't even. I'm like, okay, child. Let me get you into some cold air. You know, but these, they have just been so, so, so beautiful. So anyway, this is what we're celebrating. We're celebrating, look, and I'm not going to compare you. We're celebrating that we have palm trees and we have hydrangeas. Do you see that we have both? And do you see, oh, I'm spilling water. And why do we have palm trees and hydrangeas? And why do we have pine trees and oak trees? And why do we have squirrels and elephants? And why do we have butterflies and snakes? Why? Because apparently our great creator delights in the deliciousness of creation and just keeps creating more and more and more and more things and never duplicates itself. Not even with a snowflake. Every snowflake that the creator is putting out, that the goddess is putting out, is a different snowflake. Apparently, this is telling you something. It's telling you that the creator, every person that comes out, there's coded in the genome that no two can be alike. So come on, let's see how fabulous a snowflake you can be. Let's see how fabulous a hydrangea you can be while you're here, because then you're just going to go out of form into the nothingness as your soul, and then you're going to come back into form if you want to. Apparently, the thing that just look at nature. Nature cannot lie. Now, people lie. People lie and they would tell you all kinds of chicanery that is not true. What do I do? Thank you. That's what I'm created for. That exact thing that you just said, Johanna. I think it's Johanna. I am created to be an inspiration. That's what I'm created for. Someone else has created my son, and I'm to be an inspiration with the word, the spoken word and the written word. My son, nature is my church. Come on, I'm with you. My son, he's an artist. I can't paint. My daughter, she's a crown specialist, and she came out doing hair and arranging beauty and all of that. My other daughter, she writes and has the intelligence and the wits. They all came out different. They all came out different. Nature is the truth, right? Nature cannot lie. So when people are trying to tell you something, just go to nature and see, does this unfold in nature? With a cult, ooh, pardon me. I'm going to set you nicely, gently here because I'm spilling water all over the place. Okay, hydrangea. I'm a little too animated for this one. Look at it. Just look at nature. Nothing in a cult matches nature. See, it's against divine nature. So anyway, here was the creepiest part. Let me finish with the creepiest part. The creepiest part is the wedding day thing that they do. They have this wedding day thing where they have the feast and all that. They made your little pink frock for you and all that. And they made the little thing, and they gave the new couple a new place to live on the land, you know, in your tiny little shack, because nothing's big. It's very simple living. I kind of like that. I get that. And it's good food. One thing about these cults, let me tell you something. I will eat some Amish food. I don't care. Them Amish people have some good food. Man, you go to, and the Dutch market, oh my God. We used to go to the Amish market and the Dutch market. Forget about it. Pennsylvania Dutch people, oh, what? Ooh, the baked bread, the cheeses, they got everything. They got everything. So anyway, they have the feast, of course, prepared. They do the wedding ceremony. Then get this, family. They send the new couple off to consummate their wedding. So they do the wedding ceremony. Then, child, you keep me going. Look, I am crazy as a bed bug. They send the couple to their new, little apartment thingy and tell them, consummate your marriage and we'll wait here for you. They wait in the banquet hall. I was like, Jesus, I can't, people. I cannot. I cannot. They wait for you. Okay. They send the couple, the whole community. I'm like, dang, the whole community is riding on me having sex right now. It's too much pressure. The whole community. Me and my daughter were howling. Oh my goodness. And these two little kids, one 17, one 16, he don't look like he know where to put it, and she don't know where to receive it. They standing up there looking like this. Two little kids. I'm like, stop it, people. Who made this up? Stop, people. And then Jesus loves you. Well, yes, Jesus loves you, but Jesus loves everybody. Jesus loves fools. So it's not to my credit that Jesus loved me. Jesus loved every damn body, okay? So they take him. I can't, oh my God. I can't take it. This is not funny. Well, I don't know why this thing had me rolling. Me and my daughter were laughing so hysterically, we could not stop. Wait a minute. They make you go to your apartment. So let's say it's 12 noon, okay? All the people, they're still at the wedding. And they said and you ride on this little wagon that they made. It's too much. It's too much. You ride on a wagon. And you go to your new apartment. And the little boy and the little girl, I call them little boy and little girl because that's what they look like. They are supposed to have sex and then come back to the banquet. I was done. I was like, oh my God. Okay. So people are waiting there. Well, I'm like, do they have you on a timer? See, because a big part of this, a big part of this thing is having as many babies for Jesus as you can have. Because, in a cult, you have to keep having babies because you have to multiply the cult. That's the whole thing about religion and cults. They need growth. They're going to get growth one way or another. Either we're going to have these babies or we're going to grab some more people and bring them in the cult, right? Oh my God. So here it is. I'm like, I hope they don't do a time lapse. I'm watching this thing like, this is where emotional eating comes in. Because look, you just be sitting here like this, eating your popcorn like, what the fuck? That's what all the emotional eating happens when you watch shit like that. And you look at, oh damn, I ate the whole bag of popcorn over these crazy cult fools up in here. Right? So, share this vid, please, and subscribe. I got plenty more stories where this came from. I'm one of the most irreverent reverends you will ever meet in your life. So anyway, I have to write a book about this. So I was like, is it a time lapse? Did they put a time? Let me get a tissue. Oh man, my eyes, my makeup's about to run and everything. Wait a minute, Fabby, I'll be right back. Woo. Oh, I can't eat. Okay. Okay, Kaisi. Okay, get yourself together, Kaisi. Okay, now. Okay, I'm back. Had a little hysteria going on. I'm back. My grandmother, she lived to be into her 90s, and she was extremely beautiful, extremely healthy and active. And I said to her one day, I think she was about 93 or something. I was like, Grandma, what's the secret to living a long, healthy life like you and still have your right mind? She did crossword puzzles, the New York Times crossword puzzles, because we lived in New York, right? And what my grandmother said? She said, you have to have a good belly laugh every day. So I just have, thank you, Grandma, because Grandma, Grandpa, all of them, they're on the other side. Thank you, Grandma. Ooh, Grandma's laughing with me. I had my belly laugh today. You want a good belly laugh? Turn on that show on the cult. Okay, so I think I'm gonna create a TV show about a cult. I'm gonna create a cult. Watch this. I'm gonna create a cult. It's just a TV show. It's not gonna be real. It's gonna be a drama. Okay. So anyway, I said to myself, do they have this little couple on a it's crazy. Do they have this couple on a timer that these people have to have sex by a certain time? Well, everybody's in the hall, the kids too, the whole community. The whole community is like 180, 200 people, something like that. They're all still in the wedding, waiting. They can't even eat. Well, I was like, well, dang, what if she has a challenge with the thing getting in? What if this, what if that? And sure enough, here they came back in a little while. Okay, we're back. Everybody's like, let's see. I was like, that is creepy AF. That is creepy AF. I can't. And you know something? I'm sure some couples have said, this is not what, how you gonna just go and have sex just like that in the middle of a wedding? Okay, now go have it. Tyler Perry has one. Yes. He made a movie about a cult. I gotta see it. How in the world? I mean, I didn't look, I got married when I was 22 and I was still a virgin. Like I told you, I was still a virgin when I got married. Guess what? We still didn't have sex on the first wedding night. It was like some maneuvering that had to happen. It was like it was a process. They don't even let you have your process on BET Plus. Oh my goodness. I gotta see this because these cults are really getting out of control. And this is what we really want to help everyone understand it. Understand that you have a mind, that you are divine, that you are sovereign, you need no boss, you're receiving your own inner guidance. Excuse me. You're receiving your own inner guidance at every moment. There's never been a moment that God is not speaking to you completely. Everyone is God. No one needs a boss. We all live according to law and principle. I'm not one of these people. I'm a libertarian. I'm not a complete anarchist. And anarchy doesn't mean complete anarchy, everybody running wild in the streets, no accountability, doing whatever the hell they feel like. That's not it. What I know is high control groups that go against the universal order and the nature of things are not it either. And so whatever the answer, excuse me, the answer always is ye are gods. You remember that, you will never have an issue. I love you. Make sure you buy the latest book, How to Be a Christian Witch. It is going ham, ballistic on 3 bestseller lists because of y'all. Freaking awesome. Freaking ballistic. Stratospheric. I freaking love it and I love you. God bless you. Stay away from them cults, baby. Stay away from the JWs. Stay away from the family. Stay away from anything that wants to control your mind and how you live. I love you. God bless you. Mwah. Peace. That was outstanding. Share. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Share. ValerieLove.com. Peace.